Hi everybody, my name is Lynn Ismail and welcome to my channel. It is February 29th, it's a leap year, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a few things that I have potted up. These are perennials that I've started. Well, I've tried to germinate most of them December 15. Got them in the cell tray around beginning of January, and now that they've outgrown their cells, they're ready to go in bigger pots. So I'm going to go through each of the plants that I've potted up and then just review where in my garden they're supposed to go or where I've planned for them to grow in my garden. It's a good way for me to remember too, few months from down the road. But before that, I'm going to show you an update on the Dahlia cuttings, mom cuttings, and a couple of the seeds that I started a couple of weeks ago. So most of my dahlias have yeah, when I can't pull them out, it usually means that they've rooted. The only thing I'm not worried. I have a ton of them, but this one, as you can see, it's sorry, that's my dog barking. It's still, it's drying up on the edges, and I don't see any new growth in there. Well, if I pull it, it's still stuck there. So who knows? Maybe it's biding its time to grow. But my mums are growing okay. They've got new buds coming out. Just gonna let that barking go away for now. Hold on, right? Dogs have stopped barking. Anyway, these are my Cerinthe. They tended to get tall, but they'll be fine once they start growing outside. But they germinated quite well. I'm pretty sure that I did one seed per cell, but somehow there's several of them that two. I don't know how that happened unless one seed have two embryos and now there's two. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how that happened. And over here, we got the Cobaeus. It's cups and saucer vine. These can get huge. I have one. You don't see it yet, but over there is little thing coming up. This one hasn't done any activity yet, but this one's coming up as well. The Cerinthe is great for foliage when you make arrangements, and they're great for pollinators too, especially bees. Bees love them. And the Cobaeus scandens, I'm gonna use them for my arbors. I'm gonna use them for my arbors in the fence area of the garden. Right now, the clematis eventually should be able to climb up there in a few years, but right now the Cobaeus scandens, it's an annual, so it should do the job until the clematis get more established and occupy those arbors I have in the garden. So let's go ahead with the rest of the video. So this is my Verbena Bampton. I did winter sow several of them last year, and they grew okay, but the rabbits got them. They're supposed to be rabbit resistant, but I guess the rabbits were hungry. But as you can see, the roots are coming out, so it's time for them to be potted up. And also, it has started to bloom. It's it's supposed to be a first year perennial, so I can see that that's the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pot these up. I'm sure I'm going to ruin a few of the roots. So to make it easier for the plant, I'll have to pinch these verbena as well. I'm going to be using just a regular potting mix. I think I've added some little fertilizer as well, but I'm adding a couple of alfalfa pellets and stick them to the bottom of these little pots just as a slow release fertilizer for the plants that are growing in there. I'm also going to be taking advantage of the triacontinol, which is a plant hormone that helps with plant growth. If you've seen my alfalfa pellets video, you can refer to that video for why I use alfalfa pellets all the time. Now this is Macleaya. I chose this plant because it grows really tall and it has nice plumes once the flowers have died down. The only thing about this is that they are vigorous growers, so I'll have to put eventually when I put them in the garden in the shade, I will have to put them in its own container so it doesn't spread. It spreads via rhizomes. So as long as I harvest the flowers and they don't let them seed and they don't let them spread, then that should be fine. And I only have 4 plants to try in my garden. Doing a bad job showing what I'm doing here, but I'm basically just trimming the almost dead leaves in this plant just so the plant concentrates on making healthier growth than trying to keep the dying ones intact. Now I thought Macleaya likes moist soil, so my mistake was to put it with the Primula that likes wet soil. So as you can see, the roots in this particular one is not very happy. Healthy roots, well, depending on the variety, depending on the plant, it's supposed to be plump and white, but this one, and then you can tell by the leaves too, it's not very happy. So I'm hoping that repotting them will make them bounce back, and I'm hoping that the plant itself is vigorous enough that it wants to live. So I'm gonna give them a chance, and if they live, they live. The next set of the Macleaya, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, but Macleaya, they're the younger ones, the ones that I haven't screwed up as much. And as you can see in this little seedling here, that the roots are healthy. So there you go. It's nice and white and somewhat plump. But yeah, that looks very happy. So even if those first 2 doesn't make it, at least I have the later ones that are going to hopefully make it to my garden. So that's one thing about starting early. If you screw up, then you can try again. Now on to the Verbena Bampton. I really like this this type of Verbena because it looks airy in the photos, and Erin from the Impatient Gardener just raved about this plant, so I want to see it in person and see what it's all about. So right now I'm trying to tease away the roots, trying to get them untangled as much as I can without ruining it, or at least minimize the damage I made. And because I am damaging a little bit of the roots doing this, I would have to trim down the top growth just to make it easier for the plant to rebound. The less foliage it has to feed, the less stress the plant will be. I thought Verbena in general is rabbit tolerant, or at least rabbit resistant, so I planted them in the outside area of my fence, and a little bit later in the winter the rabbits ate them. So I don't know if they're gonna come back, but to make sure that I can enjoy this beautiful plant, I'm gonna be planting them inside my fenced area. Verbena in general can tolerate drought, so I'll take advantage of that and make sure that they get planted where it doesn't get as much water. Although I found that they can tolerate moist conditions as well, so I guess it's just one of those very adaptable plants. Here I'm taking a snip on the top foliage, like I said, just for the plant to get less stress because it's got less foliage to support. And with this stem, I'm gonna see if I can grow cuttings out of it. So just take the nodes below And I'm gonna cut this portion here. And now I have a good cutting to stick in a potting soil. We'll see if it takes. So the next plant is Primula bulleyana. It is a moist loving plant, a damp border type of plant. And I got it from Gelito, one of their gold nugget seeds. Right now it's nice and happy. The roots are coming out of the cell tray. But in the beginning, I made a mistake of not paying attention to how much light I'm giving them. I didn't realize that my lights were on all the time. They weren't. The Primula bulleyana, their leaves were getting burned, and I didn't understand why until I realized that the lights were on 24 hours. So I got that fixed, and the Primula got happier. So here I'm showing you how I put the little plug into a bigger pot. So I shove a lot of the soil into the corner, make a square shape, the shape of the plug, and just drop it in there. And then what I do next is just to tap it on the side, just to loosen the soil, and then just fill the soil back, fill the pot with more soil. You don't really want to press down too much because you want some air exchange between the root and the air. So if you compact the soil too much, then the tiny air pockets will be compacted and the roots won't be able to exchange oxygen for it to grow and to provide the plant what it needs. Here is a sample of what a healthy primula should look like. You can see in the base there's multiple basal growth there, and the roots are nice and bright. This cell tray, I have 3 plants, but 2 types. I have Macleaya and 2 Coreopsis verticillata. This Macleaya has been very happy, so you can tell by the roots and the air pruning cell tray of Bootstrap Farmer. I think really helps with that. I'm planning on planting my Macleayas more towards the part shade area in my fence garden. I did have a couple last year, but somehow some critter got to it. I don't know what kind, but I would have to guess it would be a vole because it happened sometime in the fall when it got cooler and the snakes, my garden snakes, have started to go dormant. But I'm hoping that I get to enjoy a few more of these beautiful flowers because they're a welcome color in early spring, late spring, early summer. Now, Coreopsis verticillata, I tried growing this last year, but the seedling that I managed to germinate didn't survive my grow room, never saw the light of daylight, well, outside. This time I managed to develop 2, and they're actually taller than what I had last year. The root structure is not bad, but the leaf of the the taller one is starting to curl, so I don't really know what that means, if that's how they are to begin with. I was just looking if there are any nodes or any type of leaf structure in between nodes that kind of gives me a clue whether they will be branching or not if I pinch them. I think I decided that I will try to pinch the top and see if they branch from the bottom, because otherwise, if they were basally growing, I would have seen basal growth by now, but it doesn't look like they are. So as you will see later, I'll be pinching it off just to help with the plant to be transplanted in that pot, like I did with the Verbena. Just like that. Done. Bryopsis verticillata. Instead of the one thing I like about this is that they're drought tolerant, and I like the wispy leaves that it has. I thought it would look nice in the landscape, possibly make for a good cut flower, because the normal cut flower, normal coreopsis works well in a cut flower if you harvest them right. So that's why I decided to try out to grow this particular plant. These are Twizzle penstemon. I had a few growing in my garden and I really liked them, so I wanted to grow more. It's also a drought tolerant plant, and it's part of the no, it's not part of it. Is it part of the digitalis family? It's related to the foxgloves, so there's some toxicity to it towards other animals, although it hasn't stopped other rabbits from biting them. This penstemon is doing good because, as you can see over there, they're more basal growth, and the roots were still white. Now here's another Macleaya over there, one I'm pointing at, and then the right beside it is Lysimachia euphemera. I'll have to double check. It's actually Lysimachia euphemerum. So part of the Lysimachia family. It's not as invasive or aggressive as Lysimachia clothroides, but it has the spike formation that looks really good as a cut flower. It likes somewhat of a moist soil, according to what I've researched. At first, I thought they were drought tolerant, but now that I've been reading more into it, turns out they're more suited for moisture retentive soil. I have started a few of these seeds, so I'll plant a few in a spot in the garden that I know retains more moisture, and then I'll try to plant it somewhere drier, but in the more part shade condition, and see if it does well there. Now this is Dodecatheon meadia. It's otherwise known as shooting star. I thought it likes moist soil, so I had it growing beside the Primula. Well, I mean, I had this little salt tray beside the Primula in the same bigger tray, and Primula gets more water, and so I thought it would like more water too, but apparently it doesn't like that because it wasn't so happy where they were. So I'm gonna put them in a new pot, and just remember not to overwater them like I was doing. like to cover the top with some vermiculite, just so it reflects light back up to the leaves. More light, more photosynthesis. It also prevents, well, in my head, it helps prevent fungus gnats from getting through there. Here are the two Verbena seedlings, cuttings that I took from the seedlings. See if what turns out with that. So everything's done. Got it all potted up. Now I have to figure out what they really like for water, in terms of water requirements. I think what I did wrong was that I mixed what I thought was moisture loving, which is the Dodecatheon, our shooting star, and mix it with the Primula, which is in the same tray. I put both the Dodecatheon and the Primula in the same tray because Primula really likes moisture. It's like wet conditions. I oversaturated the tray with water. Primula liked it, as you can see. It's all healthy. Well, it could be healthy here, but it's put some nice growth. With the Dodecatheon, these ones that I potted up look fine, but I have a few more that are looking sad. And when I transplanted them, the soil was felt a little too wet. I think I'll have to put the Dodecatheon and the Primula apart. Same thing for the Macleaya. It might either I waited too long for it to be potted up, or it doesn't like wet conditions. It likes moisture, but moist but well drained. So I have to make sure that that's the case. And then with the Verbena Bempton, didn't really matter. It was supposed to tolerate drought, but it had a very moist condition along with the Primula, so it could go either way. This one is the Macleaya ephemerum. Likes moisture, but the Coreopsis verticillata, two ones that I managed to germinate, in the penstemons, this one, and there's another one, it's right here, Twizzle Blue penstemon. They like it dry. Macleaya, Canis giant, it could go either way. So there you go. Hopefully you've reached the end of this video, and if you did, thank you so much for watching. I show up here every Thursday, so until I see you again, bye.